Did you know that there are actually hundreds of credit unions in Canada? I know, right? Hundreds. Yeah. You probably didn't know that because most of the oxygen in the room is taken up by the big five banks. The big five banks are everywhere, but there are actually a lot of other options out there. Some are hyper local, teeny tiny, serving a small community, and some are massive with tens of billions of dollars in assets. Today, we're going to talk a bit more about the credit union sector. Our guest is Jeff Guthrie. He is the CEO of the Canadian Credit Union Association, and he's here to talk about credit unions. Hello there, Jeff.
Hello there, Bruce.
I have worked with credit unions in a lot of capacities over many, many years, and I am still amazed by their reach. Like, I keep being surprised by both the history and the role that they play in Canadian culture. What is the number one thing that you wish people understood about your members?
I would say that they really focus on serving their members, that they are completely member focused, and that instead of making profits for others, every dollar they make, everything they do goes back to their members. So it's really about making profits for people, which is a big change from against the banks who really are serving shareholders.
Yeah.
So,
Historically, many of the credit unions in this country focused on a particular demographic. There's one near me founded in 1941 to serve firefighters. Now, it's not exclusive to firefighters anymore, but they still exist. They got a branch near me. In general, who can be a member?
anyone can be a member.
Hmm.
So you're absolutely, the history at one point they were called closed bonds, so you had to belong to a union or a association of some sort, like firefighters or a profession. Today they are available to all Canadians, coast to coast to coast.
And from a offering standpoint, the biggest of the big seem to have all the things: savings, mortgages, investing, credit cards, lots of technology. Where would you say credit unions in aggregate are on par? And what's the sector working on? Like, what are the areas that you're working on advancing such that you can say, yeah, we're on par everywhere?
So we're certainly on par when you talk about savings and lending products on the retail side. Credit unions are one of the biggest lenders to small businesses in Canada. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize, but 21% of small businesses in this country rely on a credit union for their lending requirements. So, we're really focused on finding services that really meet and match the needs of our members and the broader Canadian community. I would say where we continue to work to improve is on the mobile experience. So a lot of our members are in smaller communities where mobile services have not been a priority, but now with the switching demographics and everyone, post pandemic looking at mobile and getting used, grandma didn't used to use mobile. She sure does now. So,
Right.
so
She
the
sure
big thing
does.
is now getting enhanced mobile solutions and enhanced app type solutions because that's what Canadians want.
Now, the big banks have a real rigor around the return on investment for the clients that they serve. So if they're getting a loan, they look very rigorously at credit score and all whatever those measures are. I would assume that much of that thinking applies in credit unions because you want the return on investment for the members to be solid. But where's the wiggle room? Like, in some of these local branches, are they able to extend other offers or better rates because of relationships that a traditional bank might not be conscious of or value?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of a membership model is that you treat each member as a member. So we have the ability to look at you as an individual, look at your financial needs, look at the community you live in, and make decisions not based on ratios, but on you as an individual. And we really have that freedom around mortgages. We're not tied in the same way. That's why so many small businesses love to start with a credit union because they can sit down and talk about their dreams and their beliefs with an individual face to face, and that person can show that they believe in them and invest in them. And it's really members investing in members. I mean, that's, if you go back to the beginning, that's really what it was. I came here, nobody would lend me money.
Right.
So, I had a little money, I lent it to you, and the cooperative movement was born. And the other thing I'll say, interestingly, is, the banks have to meet a return on investment. That's what the shareholder wants. What credit unions have the ability to do is look at what's right for the members at this time. And if it means a little less profit on something, fine. A little more paying on savings, fine. Because in the end, you don't have a shareholder. You're talking member to member.
One of the demographics that is underserved in this country are those who are the clients of payday loan companies. And I've had this conversation many, many times with folks in the credit union space. For all of us to kind of ponder this excruciatingly difficult question is, what's the payday loan equivalent? Because you've got people often in, financial service deserts. They're people with unpredictable incomes. And it would seem like this would be a great gap for credit unions to fill. Why in this day and age is there not a nationally scaled payday loan equivalent that can take some share out of the ones that I see on the street corner?
Yeah, I think a number of our members have looked at or have micro lending. That's really what we're talking. I need $500. I need $1,000. I need a couple of $1,000. Micro lending options. And it's really trying to figure out, how do you scale these operations across multiples? So, you've got 188 credit unions in Canada. It's difficult to scale that sort of offering across that number. And so as a result, you get payday loan companies who are very efficient at just driving, a solution and having a door front. But it's one of the areas the members continue to focus on and try to find solutions to.
Financial literacy is important, I think, to everybody in this broad financial services ecosystem: the banks, the credit unions, government, nonprofits like Credit Canada. One program that has been around for a while now is Each One Teach One. Tell us a bit about that and the objective and how it works.
Yeah, Each One Teach One was created in 2017. And then since then, over 23,000 Canadians have completed the workshops. And really what it focuses on is just helping people understand basic financial literacy. What does this mean? How do I put it into action? And it was developed by one of our members on the West Coast. And, it was so well received. They said, look, at CCOA, this needs to go across the entire country. And we've been successful in rolling it out and making it available to all Canadians. And I think it's such an important issue, because I talk to young people today and their financial literacy is simply not there because we're not teaching it in schools anymore.
Yeah, we're not teaching it in schools, and families aren't either don't or aren't able to model it very effectively in the home when they're, dealing with such pressures and holding on to outstanding balances on their credit cards and all those sorts of things. I want you to look ahead into the future. Whatever time you choose, 3 years, 5 years, longer. What are some things that you would describe about the future as it relates to credit unions? What do you believe we will see? What do you aspire to see in this area?
Over the next 5 years, you will see the growth of nationally regulated credit unions. Today, most are provincially regulated and are restricted in doing business within the province in which they're incorporated. What we see over the next 3 to 5 years is certainly a growth of federal credit unions, which will have the capabilities to serve Canadians as they move across the country. Because as we know, we tend to come to one province, maybe go work in another province. We have parents in different provinces, and the provincial regulations sometimes hand tie the credit union. So over the next few years, we're going to see federal credit unions emerge who can serve customers as they move across the country, serve customers as they try to look after aging parents that live away from them, and the like.
Really interesting stuff. Jeff, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Been a real pleasure, Bruce.
Jeff Guthrie, the CEO of the Canadian Credit Union Association. He was here to talk about the history of the credit union sector, what's going on in the present time about the services they offer, and where they're headed over the course of the next 5 or 10 years or so.